M/21F/18 my girlfriend left, and I don't know if I should send her this. Changed names to hide identities. Would love some input. To my dearest name, I miss you and hope that life has been treating you wonderfully. I have chosen to wait for you and believe in the promise you made to me. That one day in the distant future, you will return to me. My feelings for you have not shifted for even a moment since you left. I have woken up each morning and felt the absence of holding the most precious thing I have ever had or ever will have in my entire life. I still think of that beautiful, cute smile you gave me when you fed the seals and the love in your eyes that changed my entire view of life. The first time I wanted your phone so we could get food when we first met, I raised my hand, and you took mine like no one had ever held me before, with a warmth and affection that I will never know again. I know you are my person and that we are meant to be. I am sorry I met you at the wrong time and that things didn't align immediately, but I saw how deeply you cared for me and how much we meant to each other. I know you are only 18 and have a lot of life ahead of you, and I hope you live it to the fullest and cherish every moment of it. I can't wait until you realize once more that you miss and love me and decide to reach out to me. There hasn't been a single moment when I haven't received a notification or call that I don't hope is from you. My heart will always ache because I hurt and lost you. But I believe in what you shared with me, that you love me and can't wait to love me in the future and to be part of my life again. That I am your person and we met at an unfortunate time in your life. I told you not to tell me these things if you didn't mean them, if you weren't going to return. I made you promise me, and you held to that promise at that moment. You didn't waver, you didn't lie. I saw in your eyes that you wanted to come back. Maybe not this year, maybe not next, but someday, and that filled my heart with the sweetest relief. Knowing that you, name, my person, would return to me, I made you promise to keep in touch and to reach out to me, and you have blocked me on everything. I don't know if you broke this promise because you are afraid of what we could have, or if you simply need space and time to yourself to explore other relationships. But I am completely okay with that, and I understand that you need to do this. Also, that you must live your young adult life. I told you I will always provide you with a home if you need it, and I meant every single word of that. If you need a place and aren't ready to come back to me, that's okay too. I would be thrilled just to be able to keep you safe and warm. I really miss you, the way you would always wear the cutest messy bun, or how you were the best cat mom to Sugar. Your charming little snort giggle would dazzle my world and make me feel like the luckiest man alive to have heard it. I miss seeing the adorable way your face would light up when your mom texted you or when I came home and you saw me. Of course, I miss Lana and Sabrina, my two favorite girls who have always been perfectly cheerful for me, and I love everything about them. Morgan, who I've always cherished meeting face to face and teasing. And even Stephanie, which surprises me because we both know she can be difficult. I miss you as a person, hearing your wonderful perspectives on life and your incredible story that I am so proud of you for sharing with me and allowing me to be part of it. I'm sure right now, only 2 weeks after your departure, you haven't thought of me much. But there hasn't been a second in any day that I haven't hoped you'd walk that cute little sassy walk you do back into my life. I miss getting your nails done and sending you flowers. I miss providing for you and buying you the things that made you happy. I miss spending every single night together and feeling your warmth, which I fear I may never feel again. This isn't me trying to buy you. This is how I show you just how much I care. The day after you left, I got the ring that made your cute little face shine so brightly with joy when you first saw it at Fred Mayer. The 3 blue stones and the small diamonds. You said it was far too much and told me not to get it. But you are worth it, name. There will never be enough that I wouldn't be willing to give to you. You are my entire world, and you meant everything to me, and it broke my heart that I made you feel like you needed to leave. Every single day, I have wanted to reach out, try to win you back, and tell you that I love you. But I am making every effort to respect that you blocked me and need space. I'm trying my best right now to express my heart through this letter, and write my way back into your heart, hopefully without you tearing this letter apart. I have been up for days contemplating whether I should give this letter to you. Give you this ring, and after considering every scenario and event I could think of, the best thing I could do for you is to let you return to me in your own way and on your own terms. Maybe I will give you this in a few years, I'm not certain. But for now, all I want you to know is that you have been the brightest gleaming gem in my life. You are the missing piece of my soul, I will never love again in the way the fires of hell ignited my heart for you. I love you, name, and I will never love or be with anyone else like you. My heart belongs to you whether you want it or not. I would never impose this love or my emotions on you unless you desired me and wanted to return my love and finally be together. It is strange how I feel lonely when I am surrounded by friends, how my laughter feels hollow and my smiles feel forced, how my heart feels as if it hasn't beat since the day you left. I didn't know finding your person would feel like this. I didn't realize that every fleeting second they are absent would feel like an eternity filled with sorrow and torment. I will never regret meeting you because I've truly never been happier in my life than during the 5 months you were part of it. I keep thinking that September 13th was the day I discovered true happiness, and I could finally breathe for the first time in my life. The incredible day you decided to be mine. But to feel such immense joy, I didn't realize it would come with such profound pain. I wanted to talk about everything, the bad, the good, and all that falls in between in this letter. Because for me, I wouldn't trade a single second of it with time itself if my life depended on it. I truly found joy in every disagreement, every scandal, and every laugh because I shared it with you. I would give up the rest of my life just to spend another 5 minutes with you and pass away peacefully. I mean every word of this letter to you, and it reflects how I genuinely feel. I miss your beautiful smile at the Korn concert. The immense joy I saw it bring you was worth every extra second of overtime it took to buy those tickets. I have missed your adorable little self struggling to get into those jeans every time you changed. The way you brush your teeth in the shower. The way you acted as if I was your worst enemy when I woke you up each morning. I miss kissing you and telling you how you were my everything each morning, whether you remembered it in that adorable sleepy head of yours or not. I wish I could do it just one more time in my life. I never knew how finding your person could feel, and even with this gaping hole in my chest, I would do it all over again for you. If you ever read this, I want to thank you for coming into my life. I know you may think that you altered it by us moving in and leaving, but I believe it just showed me how much you mean to me. I will wait my entire life alone and die alone rather than risk missing even the slightest chance of you coming back and me not having waited. I know no one will ever make me feel this way again. No one will ever be mine the way you were. I miss the bite marks you'd leave on me for weeks, knowing they were there because you loved me. So thank you, name, for giving my life a spark of joy and hope that you will be mine again. I understand you left because you are young and unsure if you even want a family, that you are still chasing the excitement of relationships and don't truly comprehend what love is yet. I wanted to let you know when I told you I loved you back that night in my bed while watching JJK, I didn't say it lightly. I wasn't just responding. I was, at that moment, deciding I wanted you for the rest of my life, and my heart only belonged to you. That I would be there for you through thick and thin and be your person even if you decided one day you weren't mine. I said I love you and meant that no matter what challenges we face, we will do it together and care for each other. You will learn this in the future, I am sure of it. You did say it would take years for you to be ready, and I am okay waiting for centuries for you. Harlequin, you are worth it. Every second of being alone and even risking spending my life alone. And if you don't come back, I will still love you. Because that is a promise I made to you, and I will never break it. Just know there will always be me who will love you and be there if you need anything. I miss how annoyed you would get when I said Sabrina Carpenter was your favorite singer. Or your adorable angry face when I made a mistake, and you would be so cute trying to act as if you didn't love me. And the way you smile will and always has brightened my day. I loved that you got your first deer and fish with my dad, and that my dad loves you, and my entire family loves you and has been heartbroken since you left. These are all the things I have fallen for time and time again. Just like when I took you to watch Coraline, how happy that made you. I will never forget it until the day I die. I could see how much you wanted to kiss me then and there. I was there for you when we found out you were pregnant, and it wasn't mine. That was incredibly hard for me, and I respected your decision not to keep it and was there for you throughout. That was one of the hardest things I have ever faced in my life. You were a mess, and I did my best, and I hope you only have fond memories like me bringing you your favorite snacks and drinks and the flowers I got for you. Me always being there for you, and keeping my sadness hidden because you needed me, and I was just so happy to be that person for you. To have you in my life. Honestly, if it meant treating me poorly again and going through numerous difficult situations, I would endure all of them for you. I feel there isn't a mountain I wouldn't climb for you. I truly and will always love you, Harlequin Knight. My BFF name is my best friend and my brother of 8 years. He is my only family, and he told me that he plans to pursue you. That broke my heart again to hear from him. All I wish is that if you do choose him as your life partner, he always treats you well and always brings a smile to your face, the way I always wanted to. I pray every night that you will come back into my life, and we can start anew. I can make you fall in love with me all over again. I understand you want to live out your youth. I'm pretty young myself and still have a lot of growing to do. But I hope when you're ready to commit to someone, you consider what we had and the promise you made to me. Then come and brighten my life again, like you did all those months ago. I know what we had wasn't the longest relationship in the world, but to me, it will always be the most meaningful connection I have ever felt with someone. I plan to work on myself while you are away. Tackle my depression and the awful traits you mentioned, like my heavy stomping and using baby talk. Go to the gym every day and secure myself a house and a home. And hopefully provide you with a home and one day, if you decide you want one, a beautiful family. Because I know you are going to have the most beautiful children that God has ever created. I pray I am the man helping you bring such joy into this challenging world we live in. I will create for you your own little garden where you can grow your unique plants, which I remember you calling buds. A big porch where you can relax and enjoy your mornings with a fresh cup of coffee that you love to drink every morning. All the space for any of the animals you desire, and all the room in the house for your numerous hobbies you wish to pursue. I hope that, when I build this house and stay on my path, God brings you back to me so we can be happy again. Because the only thing I want you to take away from this letter, name, is that I love you and want to take care of you. Even take you on a motorbike ride for your little adrenaline junkie self, so you can feel free and come and go as you please. Always there to hand you your lucky cigarette. And buy you an incredible dab setup so you can indulge until you die happy. I miss you, name, every day, and I truly want you back. I know a man shouldn't plead and beg for a woman's attention, that it usually pushes them away. I'm just trying to convey how much you meant to me and how much I will always care for you, whether you return to me or not. I miss movie nights and late-night drives. Watching you try not to smile when I take you to get your nails done. Shopping for new clothes, which you love. Buying you nice things because you deserve to have nice things. It breaks my heart to know you are living in a trailer park, sleeping on 2 wooden chairs with 2 people, 4 cats and 2 dogs, that you shared with me how gross you feel showering there. I wish you would allow me to take you home and provide you with a bed and a clean shower. But I understand you chose this, and it's what you want right now. I hope that in the future, you think of me and remember all the good times we had together that I've mentioned. Even the ghost face mask that I still can't believe I did for you. I would do it again because you are such an amazing person, name. I know I am not perfect. I can be a mouth breather. I can be selfish at times. I get lost in depression and overthink everything. I know you dislike these traits about me, that I get overly excited and annoy you, and that you think a lot of what I do reminds you of your dad. But I would never harm you. I love you. I would and always will protect you above all else. That is why I made you promise me that if you didn't have a roof over your head, you would return, even if just as a roommate. I saw how much you struggled in the final week of our relationship, deciding whether to leave or not. I think there was a huge chance you didn't want to. I'm so sorry I ruined it by having a breakdown and crying my eyes out in front of you. I also wanted to apologize for how I viewed sex and how I handled it. Just as you expressed wanting me to get you flowers spontaneously rather than having to ask for them, that is precisely how I felt about sex. I want to share that intimacy but not have to request it. And I'm sorry I made such a huge deal about it when near the end, we kind of stopped. But I considered it a significant connection to you, and I should have made it less important to me, name. Because if you wanted to be with me and never have sex again, I would die happy. I mean that. And I'm so sorry it took your departure for me to realize it. I hope it's not too late to have you back in my life. Being without you has made me realize how much growing up I also need to do, and I plan to. I will mature into a person worthy of your love, not just your physical attraction. I do feel that in a relationship, you did not appreciate the things I did for us, and you asked a lot from me. I provided us with a 2-bedroom new apartment, and I supplied us with food and Wi-Fi and computers and cars. I set us up to live a good life together. I thought at the time that I was doing enough for you, and I think, in time, you'll see I did a lot. But I recognize that you also did your best. You made me meals whenever you felt you could manage it and always did the dishes and laundry, for which I am sincerely grateful, and I thank you for everything you did to this day. I put countless hours into my work to ensure we could move in together, and it was simply too early. We should have waited to engage in intimacy and to live together. But I didn't want you staying with your ex any longer, considering how he mistreated you. Name, I wanted to keep you safe, so I did what I could to get us where we ended up. I apologize if I also didn't appreciate the things you contributed because you did a lot. I will never let you go, Name, but if you decide you never want to hear from me again, let me know, and I will ensure you never hear from me again. I love you, and thank you once more for the wonderful 5 months you spent with me. I also have your tickets if you would like them. They were a gift, and as far as I'm concerned, they belong to you. I would take you if you wanted. But if you go with my BFF Name or someone else, I will understand. I love you, and I hope one day I can see you again, and you can make me smile like you always do. I am going to wait for you, and it is my choice. If you don't want to come back to me, I understand. You are the love of my life, and I will always be here for you. You once told me if we were dirt poor and homeless on the side of the street that you would be okay if I was with you. And that was the precise moment I knew I loved you, Harlequin. Name, and I always will. I wish you the best in your life and hope you achieve the perfect ending you desire. I pray you keep the promise you made to me and I can have a second chance. I love you, Name. You are my person, and I am always here for you. Love me. Story 2. He, 30M, broke off our engagement when I, 30F, was in the middle of moving states with him. Why would he do this? I believe I am seeking insight from anyone. I cannot confide in my friends or family because it is simply too painful. I am managing all of this by myself. In summary, he ended our engagement while I was in the process of relocating my entire life to his state in order to live with him and begin our lives together. He did it in a cruel and unexpected manner, emotionally and verbally abusing me while claiming he would have hit me if I had been there. Why would he make so many promises and plans for me to relocate, secure a job, marry him, and everything else, only to treat me this way? After I had already invested thousands to facilitate this move, I had been kind, accommodating, and understanding. I cannot comprehend how anyone could act this way. Then he said he still wanted me to come and expressed sorrow, stating he could not live without me, putting on a show of remorse. I discovered I was pregnant, but I did not inform him because I feared him and wanted to assess whether he was serious about changing. I traveled there because he convinced me to, and a few days later he told me to leave. Now, we are no longer in communication, and I have not disclosed the pregnancy to anyone because I am terrified. I had hoped he would genuinely improve his treatment of me so we could build our family, but he repeated his previous behavior. I do not wish to remain with him after all of this, but I am grappling with immense loss and emotional pain. I feel I have no choice but to terminate the pregnancy, but it is breaking my heart. Is there any explanation for how someone can be so heartless in their actions? He shifts the blame onto me, claiming I deserved everything that happened. He said, if he truly loved me, he would not have treated me this way, and then immediately contradicted himself by stating he loved me again, perhaps as a manipulation tactic. I feel foolish for allowing this to continue for so long and allowing it to reach this point. I place blame on myself. But how could a person behave in such a manner? To provide further context, we had been dating for some time and had experienced a tumultuous breakup, after which we worked through our issues and reconciled. I had accepted a job in his state at his encouragement, where he knew someone who helped me secure the position. We had outlined plans for me to relocate, start this job, build our family, save for a house, and cohabitate in the interim. He proposed to me, and we became engaged. I returned to my state to prepare my belongings for the move. Just 5 days later, while I was in the middle of packing, and after spending significant money to facilitate the move, he abruptly ended our engagement in an extremely brutal manner. It was not only emotionally but also verbally abusive and completely unprovoked. It was devastating. I had given him an opportunity to walk away before I left, as he had previously expressed doubts about fidelity. I told him he could leave if he had no desire to continue, but I needed him to be honest before I committed to this move and invested my resources into it. Then he proposed and subsequently ended it just as I was in the process of moving. It felt as though he waited until it would hurt me the most to cause maximum destruction. A few days later, he apologized but continued to assert that he did not love me and claimed he would have struck me if I had been present during the outburst, which was unprovoked, by the way. Eventually, he began expressing a desire for me to move there, but he did not wish to live together or be in a relationship, instead suggesting we would just see how things unfolded. He claimed he could not live without me, and that he had suddenly realized he loved me and wanted to make it work. Naively, and still under the fog of the abuse, I hesitantly entertained the notion, as my situation was dire. I had nowhere else to go, and the only job I had was in his state, leaving me with very few options. I continued to pack as a contingency, but it no longer seemed logical to accept a terrible job without him when the plan was initially for us to be together. He then offered that we could still live together, which I found perplexing since I expressed my concerns about whether it made sense. While I was still packing, I experienced a late period. I took a test and was horrified to discover it was positive. I was once again devastated. How could I bear the thought of having a child with a man who had threatened to hit me and perpetrated emotional and verbal abuse, not to mention the countless other issues stemming from both him and our relationship? I started to worry that if I went and things soured, I would be in a dire situation. I felt my only option was to have an abortion and stay here. Keep in mind, becoming pregnant and having a child has always been my dream, something I have yearned for my entire life. However, the most significant aspect of that dream involves creating a family that is healthy and happy, avoiding inflicting destruction on ourselves or our children, and providing them with a better life than we had. My family and friends advised me against proceeding with the move, and nobody knows about the pregnancy, mainly due to the broken engagement. Moreover, getting engaged and pregnant were intended to be the happiest moments of my life, and he robbed me of both. I decided to visit him for a week to test the waters and give it another try. He persistently urged me to come, so I acquiesced. I did not inform him about the pregnancy because I found him terrifying and untrustworthy, leading me to be skeptical of his claims that he could not live without me, especially after months filled with declarations of, "I hate you." Everything seemed fine during my visit, and he was often kind and occasionally quite sweet. I was motivated to give this a genuine effort in the hope that he would finally prove true to his word. I wasn't going to mention the pregnancy or make decisions about the move until I could ascertain that he was serious. However, he made no actual effort or exhibited any actions to support his words. They remained hollow. He then told me he wanted me to simply forget what he had done and move forward with no accountability, which struck me as utterly ludicrous. Why was it my responsibility to heal what he had broken? Regardless, I said I would give it a try, as I was determined to make this work, but then he reverted to his old ways, arguing with me, belittling me, lying, and gaslighting. Ultimately, he told me to leave. Usually, in such instances, he would reconsider his words. That is his established pattern. He lashes out and ends things and then returns as if nothing happened. However, rather than waiting for the inevitable switch, as his mother advised me to do, I booked my flight home the moment he asked me to leave. This was the proof I needed that he would never be stable or honest enough to maintain a healthy relationship. He did not even stick to his word for more than 3 days before dismissing it once more. I am utterly devastated, enduring profound loss, a relationship, a fiancé, a baby, a job, a new life, a fresh beginning, a family, and a future, everything I had ever desired, albeit a distorted version influenced by the abuse. This is not how I imagined it. Regardless, it is loss, and I feel so shattered. I desperately want to keep the baby because I know I am meant to be a mother, but I cannot envision giving this life to a child, and I dread even considering telling him. We would be faced with a terrible life filled with abuse and suffering. The thought of enduring an abortion overwhelms me. Just writing that down makes me wish for an escape. It is not something I ever envisioned having to face. This is tearing me apart, and it is going to destroy my spirit. Additionally, my cultural beliefs and personal interests dictate that I should wait until marriage to have a child. Sometimes, I consider whether perhaps I could still go through with it. Maybe it could transform him. Maybe he would seek help and cease the constant hurt. I feel guilt for not disclosing the pregnancy to him, though I know he would use it against me. He ended our engagement and inflicted such damage upon me. How can I navigate this situation in a way that honors both of us? Now, I feel utterly broken and in pain. He has drained me until I have nothing more to give. I am back home, we are not in contact, and he shows no decency whatsoever. His family cares for me and has been checking in, but nobody is aware of the pregnancy. I have been trying to figure out how to handle the termination because there is simply no path forward in which I can have a decent future with him. I am lost. Story 3. Impending doom on my BF, 30M, and I, 27F relationship. On Tuesday evening, my boyfriend and I, who have been together for almost 7 years, had an argument about something from his past. He has previously claimed that he has only had those experiences with me and not with any other woman. Naturally, this made me feel unique and impacted me emotionally. However, I discovered that this assertion was false, and this is not the first time he has been dishonest about matters like this. As a result, I no longer feel special, and honestly, I feel cheap and foolish for having believed him. He has been untruthful about both significant and minor things before. This makes it more challenging to determine whether he is being truthful now. After he told me he no longer wanted to discuss it, I left the matter alone but felt very hurt, retreating to my room to cry alone. We have not spoken since that Tuesday evening, and on Wednesday morning, we had a major dispute during which we said hurtful things to each other. He concluded the argument by telling me to leave him alone. So, I did, but he has not made any effort to come to me and discuss the situation. He insists he is being honest, but I recall his previous statements, and I know how they made me feel valued. I believed I was different and deserving of something special in our intimate connection. I have cried in front of him, but he does not exhibit any genuine compassion or care. I feel as though my feelings are a burden or irritation to him because tonight I approached him to discuss how his behavior is affecting me. But he told me that if I think he is such a terrible person, I should just leave our relationship. This hurts, because I wish he would just listen to how I feel and recognize that his actions are painful, instead of continuing to behave in ways that hurt me. I feel foolish because I sometimes fall for his provocation and react emotionally, saying hurtful things out of my own pain, especially when he dismisses my feelings and shuts me down, always responding negatively and making biting comments. He also treats me differently when he is angry with me compared to when he is in a good mood, and I dislike that. I do not understand why his respect or love for me fluctuates based on his mood. He expressed that our relationship feels very one-sided and he is tired of it. I asked him what we should do since I feel the same way, but he did not respond to that and seems to evade the subject when I try to bring things up. I am beginning to feel like my home is confining because he ignores me, and I remain in my room to keep my distance so that I do not engage him about my feelings. When I am near him, I am tempted to discuss my emotions and how he has hurt me. He mentioned he would apologize for hurting my feelings but not for the dishonesty, claiming he did not lie. However, I know, deep down, that he misled me and told me the opposite, but he refuses to listen to my side. If he were to tell me that I am everything to him or that I am special, I would honestly struggle to believe it because I do not want to feel special again only to be hurt again. I know he does not comprehend the depth of my feelings. I also despise losing control and yelling at him with hurtful words. It genuinely makes me feel terrible, and I do not enjoy acting like that. I am uncertain if the relationship is destined to fail. It has frequently been unstable and dysfunctional. I could genuinely benefit from some constructive advice on this situation and our relationship as a whole. Update: I apologize for the hurtful names I have called him because I genuinely do not wish to be a bad person and I really dislike acting out of character. It makes me feel disappointed in myself. So I approached him, apologized, and took responsibility for my actions. He said he was sorry for hurting my feelings, but he did not say certain things, and he stands by that. I went to my room and cried. I know he did hurt me, but after several days of arguments, I am starting to question myself. I went into the living room to help take care of the children because he just left without a word. This bothered me because I was occupied in the bathroom, and they made a mess while he could have watched them until I finished. He returned and brought me something to drink, attempting to hand it to me. I said not at that moment, and tears began welling in my eyes, so I left for my room to cry. He then confronted me about not shutting his door properly, and I replied that I would. Then he said he was sorry for my tears, but I said nothing because I do not think he truly grasps the emotional pain he has caused me. I discussed this with my therapist, who mentioned that my boyfriend might care, but it could be in a very dysfunctional way, which I need to evaluate whether that is acceptable to me.